Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Twilight. A little bit, just a recap, or a long one. But this book for me, it's a 5 stars book. It was written by Stephenie Meyer around 2005, maybe. I have to say, before I continue, I was hoping for a rainy day, cloudy, moody, as a Twilight at heart. But where I live, it's really sunny, hot weather, probably like Phoenix. Did you get it? I put on my Twilight t-shirt because I needed to represent today my love for this book. If you have no idea about this book, I guess you were living under a rock because it's one of the biggest franchises out there. But we are going to do a, a dive, a little dive into this story. So, Twilight. I have the Spanish copy. This one is from 2009. Yes, in February. The first one is from 2005. So, 20 years ago. Wow. I just felt the old wave hit me. Anyway, this is a saga. We actually have 4 books in the main saga, and then the author wrote a prequel. Well, no, it's not a prequel, I'm sorry. It's Twilight from the point of view of Edward, which is one of the main characters of this book. But this book, we will find the point of view of Bella, which is the main character. Bella is from Phoenix. Like I gave you a little hint. She is from Phoenix. She lives with her mother that is divorced from her father and is now remarried to a really nice man named Phil. Her mom's name is Renee, and Bella decides to let her mother go live her merry happy life as a newlywed, and she moves with her father, Charlie, to Forks in Washington, but in the state of Washington. So, Forks is a place where I've always wanted to live. Rainy, it's really cloudy, cold, wet weather. I wanted to live there more because I thought I could find a vampire husband than for the weather itself. But the scenery, it's beautiful. I actually told my husband that we need to do a trip to Forks and stay there and look at all the locations of the films because if you didn't know, this book, well, all of those were made into films around 2008 and 2012, maybe. There are 5 movies which I recommend, and the first one, it has a really blue tone, which is so nice. When I read this book, I always feel like I'm reading blue. I don't know. I think I'm just so attached to the movies that I cannot recognize the characters outside of the ideas that we already have from the movies. Does that make any sense? Okay, so Bella decides to move to Forks where she doesn't think she's going to find anything interesting. She goes to high school, and on the first day, she sees this beautiful, spectacular family. In that moment, she doesn't know that they are vampires, but they are. Spoiler alert, they are. They are so beautiful, so glamorous, so slow walking like a model. And slowly throughout the book, she befriends Edward, which is one of the vampires from that family. He can read minds, but he cannot read Bella's mind. So he's so intrigued by her that he falls in love. And she falls in love with him. I mean, I don't think she had any chance of not falling in love with him. I think everyone, except if you are Team Jacob, everyone fell in love with Edward. They have a really strange relationship. When I read it the first time, I was a teen, I didn't realize how many things were wrong with the storyline and what they are doing. But it's just a fantasy book. I mean, this is not a guide to go live your life. I wish I could find a vampire for myself, but this is not a guide. It's a fantasy book. So let's keep that in mind because I think people take this book and others too seriously. And those are just words. That's it. They are not going anywhere. So we take Bella. I don't know when she studies because she's all about Edward everywhere. We also have the best friend of her father, Bill, is the father of Jacob, and he has a crush on Bella. What we don't know in this book yet is that Jacob is a werewolf, and vampires and werewolves are enemies. So they cannot co-inhabit the same area. They have a special treaty that they need to respect. But there comes little Bella, and you know, there are situations that happen where this treaty is in rumbles. Jacob appears at the beginning and at the end of this book, mainly for the plot. On New Moon, which is the second book, we do get more of Jacob's side story. On this book, I think Bella realizes that she is a kind of strange or not as normal teenager, and she starts to play with the idea of becoming a vampire because maybe that is what she was always meant to be. The story is written lightly, is not a difficult read, but keep in mind that the book is 500 pages, So if you are a slow reader like myself, it will take you some time. Um, we get a lot of really romantic moments between Edward and Bella in this book. We get and meet his family, and they meet Bella, and there is a house full of vampires, and Bella is just worried if they are going to like her instead of being, terrified of dying. I don't know. Maybe that's a possibility. There are some friends that Bella meets in this new high school, which you will soon realize they are not really friends, except one. Angela is a really nice friend. And I am a little sad that Bella never maybe realized that Angela was there for her. The rest of the girls and boys in this school, they are not really nice. What else? Charlie, Bella's father. He's so nice, and he just has no idea what the F is going on around him. And he's the sheriff of Forks, and he has no idea, no clue what is happening in this little town. But he's really nice. He's really worried about Bella and tries in his way to be there for her. Her mom, on the other side, is that type of parent that want to be your friend instead of your parent. So Bella has a more motherly behavior with her mother than the other way around. So she picks up her things, moves to another state, and her mom is like, bye, take care, and doesn't go. I mean, I'm thankful my mother was not that way, but Charlie is definitely a keeper. And the story goes, I think once you read the saga, you understand the characters, you realize that even though this book is full of information from Bella's point of view, once Midnight Sun is published a few years ago by the author, which is Edward's point of view, I'm sorry, you realize how much you were missing from this book alone. But I will not recommend going into Edward's point of view before finishing the first saga, like the original one. I think it's important to just keep on Bella's mind with you at all times. That this was the main story. So we got Midnight Sun, I think around 2020. No, like 2019 or so, 18 maybe. And it completely changed the way I saw this saga. You get little glimpses of how Edward feels, but whoa, once you read the other book, that's a roller coaster of emotions and self hate that does not happen on the main saga. So I think stick to the first saga first, and then you have other options to read. But I really like this book. I know I'm not doing like the biggest spoilers or going into every character and just, I don't know, doing a deep dive into every chapter. If you want, I could do it someday. I just wanted to do a little review because I just finished reading this one and I just have so much attachment to this book that I don't really know where to start or where to finish my thoughts because I'm just so used to the idea of this storyline that I think everyone has the same perception of the story, if that makes sense. I don't know. Tell me in the comments, have you read these books? What did you like about them? What you didn't like? Are you a fantasy reader? What kind of fantasy? Because I was trying to explain to my husband that fantasy books are not just one type of book. You have such a large range of fantasy books. This is not high fantasy by any means, but I think it's more relatable to more people because of that, because it's not such a difficult and powerful read. It's more light, and you can really read it. If you're a fast reader, you can read this in one day. I remember when I got them, I read the four books in one day, the four of them. This one took me months now because I'm an adult and I have to do other things with my life. But if you're a fast reader, this is an easy read. Anyway, I hope you like this review. You can tell me any suggestions on books that are similar to these ones, or any other fantasy books. I am really into fantasy, any type of fantasy. So I will be seeing you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.